Imagine logging into your favorite software, completely unaware that someone else may already know your password. By 2013, Adobe was a standard for creative and corporate work. Millions of professionals relied on their ecosystem daily, using programs like Photoshop, Illustrator, and Acrobat Reader to manage their digital lives. To manage those millions of users, Adobe held a massive repository of sensitive data, including email addresses, encrypted login credentials, and payment records. At the time, most people assumed that if one specific website was compromised, the damage stopped there. Your account on that one service might be at risk, but the rest of your data remains separate and secure. That assumption was tested in 2013, when a cyber attack on Adobe's systems escalated to expose more than 150 million user accounts. This shattered the idea that high-profile software was a safe harbor. A single breach had now exposed the personal information of a population larger than most countries. Hackers didn't just slip into the network. They systematically exfiltrated the company's massive customer database, taking millions of user records with them. But as the investigation unfolded, Adobe revealed a second, even more concerning theft. The hackers had also obtained portions of the company's proprietary source code. Source code acts as the architectural blueprint for software. It contains the logic, the internal structure, and the exact instructions that make the programs run. For cybersecurity experts, this was a major alarm. With those blueprints in hand, hackers could study the code to find hidden vulnerabilities that hadn't been discovered by Adobe's own developers. These newly found flaws could be used to compromise any computer running Adobe software, potentially putting millions of systems at risk of further attack. The theft combined internal software blueprints with millions of active user credentials, leaving both the company's products and its customers vulnerable at the same time. While the stolen passwords were encrypted, researchers soon discovered that the protection Adobe used was surprisingly ineffective. Because of the way data was processed, identical passwords created identical patterns in Adobe's encrypted database. By identifying common combinations like 123456 or password, hackers used those visual patterns to identify the passwords of millions of other users without needing to decrypt them individually. The leaked data revealed that massive numbers of users were relying on these same highly predictable combinations, making them easy targets for anyone with the database. The failure in encryption allowed hackers to map out and exploit the most common password habits of millions of people at once. This technical failure was amplified by a widespread human habit. People frequently used the same password for every account they owned. Attackers began automatically testing the stolen Adobe credentials against other high-value services, including email providers, social platforms, and banks. This created a cascading failure. A single compromised credential could now bypass the security of a user's entire digital footprint. Users discovered that because they used the same credentials elsewhere, a single leak had linked their professional tools directly to their personal finances and private communications. The Adobe breach demonstrated that the impact of a data leak is rarely contained within a single company. Instead, it travels as far as human behavior allows it to. The 2013 breach became a public case study in the dangers of poor digital hygiene, forcing the entire tech industry to rethink how it protected user data. In response, companies began upgrading their back-end infrastructure, moving toward more secure hashing algorithms and sophisticated systems designed to detect breaches the moment they occur. On the user side, the industry pushed for the widespread adoption of multi-factor authentication and password managers to ensure that one compromised account couldn't compromise them all. Despite these advancements, a single stolen credential remains the primary starting point for most modern cyber attacks. The strict security protocols we use today exist because the Adobe breach proved that, in a connected world, the security of millions can depend on a single password.